Welcome to the last episode of the Sora Effect mini series. In this episode, we are exploring a groundbreaking shift that's already reshaping online influence, entertainment, and even how we define ourselves in the digital world. Today, we are asking who really owns your face in the era of AI videos and digital doubles? Let's start at the heart of the matter. Sora's cameo feature means that with just a short recording, your face and voice can star in any scenario, from action films to holiday greetings, all without you stepping in front of a camera. That's wildly powerful. And it's why the moment Sora launched this capability, major Hollywood talent agencies jumped in to opt their entire client rosters out. Why? Because suddenly your likeness isn't just your identity, it's become your most valuable brand asset. I talked about this in the first episode. Today, we are diving into what happens when your face becomes tradable intellectual property. When brands can rent a digital version of you, when the line between authentic and synthetic becomes so blurred that trust itself needs a new infrastructure. Because here's what nobody's really talking about. This isn't just about deepfakes or copyright law. This is about who gets paid when your digital twin goes to work. And that reshapes everything about how creators make money, how brands connect with audiences, and how we even define what's real. Let's get into it. Here's a ridiculous thought. Your face, your voice, your identity is now a product. Not metaphorically, literally. And it's already happening thanks to the Sora effect. We are watching the birth of the identity economy. Your biometric data, your face, your voice, even the way you gesture when you talk, these aren't just personal characteristics anymore. They are becoming tradable assets. OpenAI has already announced plans to compensate IP rights holders when their likenesses are used in Sora generated content. Think about what that means. There's going to be a marketplace where you can essentially rent out your digital self. In other words, your AI double made you dollars last night doing brand integrations while you slept. It sounds wild, but we have actually been building toward this for years. Athletes have been licensing their likeness for video games. Celebrities have been selling their image rights for decades. What's different now is the scale and the accessibility. You don't need to be Tom Cruise to have a monetizable likeness anymore. For many, this opens up new revenue streams through digital twin licensing. You could be in a Bollywood movie, host a VR conference in Singapore, and front a product campaign in Berlin all at the same time without leaving home. Brands might save on production costs and time, but the real benefit for creators is the chance to scale themselves endlessly, earning from their digital presence around the globe. But it's not that simple. What exactly are you selling? When a brand licenses your AI generated version, are they buying your appearance, your personality, your credibility with your audience, or all of that? There's not much clarity on the revenue models too. OpenAI's compensation structure is still vague, but we are likely looking at something like music streaming royalties. Every time your likeness appears in generated content, you get a micropayment. It still leaves many unanswered questions. Who decides the rate? Who verifies the usage? What happens when your face appears in content you'd never endorse? What happens in the event of a conflict situation? You might have a contract that says you get paid, but it might not say you get control. OpenAI, facing pressure from studios and agencies, is rolling out granular controls so rights holders, as they call them, can block or monetize use of their likenesses and characters. Still, there are many concerns that need to be addressed. On the other side, really successful creators are already thinking three steps ahead. They are not just creating content anymore, they're creating digital twins they can license out, but with strict parameters. Mr. Beast, YouTube's biggest creator, has been vocal about his concerns. If AI can make YouTube videos as compelling and as viral as his, what's left for the millions of creators whose edge was originality and hard work? And he's right to worry. His entire empire is built on audiences watching him do elaborate, expensive stunts. Then there's the aspect of cost of producing content. When overhead for an AI influencer is basically zero, while human creators reinvest every dollar for production value, the Sora effect tilts the playing field wildly. On one hand, it creates massive opportunities for creators, and on the other, it raises an important question for the mid tier creators. What will happen to the creators without a massive audience or a strong brand presence? It seems another mid tier squeeze could happen in the creator economy too. Frankly speaking, this creator economy that we all keep talking about is also a bit of a myth. The term creates an image of this thriving ecosystem where anyone with a camera and an idea can make a living. But the reality is quite different. Only a tiny fraction of content creators actually support themselves from their work. Most are side hustlers, hobbyists, or people supplementing other income. If you look at the mid tier creators, they are making decent money, but not Mr. Beast kind of money. So, this mid tier squeeze is likely to hit a large number of creators hard. In such situations, I think what the people in the market say is more reliable. People in my network, high authority websites, and what I've repeatedly heard in webinars, they all say that brands have always had a problem with creators. They find them expensive and unpredictable. They're not always comfortable with the very opinions that have earned them a follower base. Some have also mentioned situations where creators said no to a campaign entirely. And very few collaborations have earned incremental dollars, even though the visibility has been quite good. Now imagine you are a marketing director. You can pay a mid tier creator $5,000 for a video, deal with contracts and revisions and approvals. Or you can generate a synthetic spokesperson who looks great, says exactly what you want, never complains, and costs you basically nothing after the initial setup. The mid tier squeeze could create a market dominated by the extremes. On one extreme, anyone can flood the internet with AI content. On the other, premium creators, those exceptional people whose authenticity and inventiveness is very difficult to fake, may command even higher rates. Fashion models are already seeing this. AI has gotten scary good at generating attractive people with the right number of fingers and toes, which used to be the telltale sign of AI generation. But now, you can create an entire campaign with digital models who don't need breaks, don't age, and don't have bad days. Some agencies are already doing it. Brand spokespeople are next. Why hire a difficult human when you can create an AI character who speaks eloquently and with passion about your product every single time? There are AI apps out there that can generate hyper realistic UGC videos on the fly too. It's not just theoretical, it's happening right now. Ad agencies are using AI to generate creatives for ads and promoting them directly instead of working with human talent. Now, if as a creator your value is being good looking or reading out a script, you are in trouble. But if your value is perspective, expertise, or personality, you might actually be fine, or more than fine. Because AI in its current form does not have new insights yet. It is unable to bring fresh perspectives. It recycles what already exists. Every AI video starts with a human prompt. If something catches on, there's still a creator behind it. It just may not be the one in front of the camera. Creators who are going to survive this know that authenticity holds a lot of value. That's their shield against everything AI right now. People tune into creators because they want something real, something that hasn't been through multiple rounds of corporate approvals. AI, due to its reliance on its training data, is largely inauthentic. And I think this flood of AI content might actually work in the favor of human creators. When your feed is full of synthetic videos that all feel vaguely the same, the human voice starts to stand out more. But the creator economy, I think, is about to be reset. Top tier creators are going to command premium rates for genuine, non replicable content. Mr. Beast's followers are more likely to lean more into his videos as AI generated content increases. Mid tier creators will face a challenge. Either they need to improve their content quality with unique voice and perspective, or see their presence stagnate or diminish. It's not a comfortable transition, but it's happening whether we are ready or not. Now, let's move our focus onto brands because they're facing their own crisis right now. And it is something most of them haven't fully grasped yet. If you are a brand or working with one that has spent years building trust with your audience, you need to keep a close watch what happens to your carefully cultivated image, brand ambassadors and spokespeople. Anyone with access to Sora can create a video of your CEO saying literally anything. Or worse, your competitor could use AI to create a better copy of your campaign and gain customers. The Sora effect has pushed brands into an authenticity war. Brands are realizing that maintaining genuine connections with audiences is about to get very, very hard. In times of AI generated content, audience trust becomes the only currency that matters. And trust requires proof. This makes it very important to have a trust infrastructure. We need provenance standards so we can verify where the content comes from. Data provenance initiative is a relevant example that comes to mind. A watermarking system that proves whether something was created by AI or by humans. Platforms that track who consented to their likeness being used and where. This isn't just nice to have stuff. It's becoming essential infrastructure for doing business. Sora and other platforms like Google View 3 are embedding C2PA metadata, watermarks, or digital ID in every AI video and giving people the power to monitor and remove unauthorized uses. Crisis situations where a spokesperson's likeness is misused. Who's responsible? How do you respond? Do you issue a statement or try to take it down knowing that it might spread faster? Most brands don't have good answers to these questions yet. They're still figuring out their own AI policies, let alone their AI crisis response plans. If you look at this from the perspective of a user, research shows that they actually respond pretty well to AI content when they know it's AI content. It means disclosing that a branded content is AI generated isn't a weakness, it's actually a strength. But brands are terrified of disclosure because they think it will make them look less authentic. They're wrong. What makes you look inauthentic is getting caught trying to pass off synthetic content as real. The trust hit from that is massive. On the other side of this dilemma lies a huge opportunity for brands. Brands can now create content at a scale that was never possible before. They can personalize messaging in ways that would have required huge production budgets. They can test concepts and iterate faster than ever. The catch is that all of that only works if people trust you. And trust in the AI age requires a completely different approach to brand management. It requires transparency, clear disclosure, respect for consent, and a commitment to authenticity that goes way beyond marketing speak. Now, let's talk about the aspect of marketing that is talked about only in close circles. The Sora effect is creating the legal and ethical mess that we now find ourselves in. The current intellectual property laws were written for a world where copying someone else's likeness required actual effort. Equipments, people, budgets, and much more was needed. Now you need a text prompt and 3 seconds. Consumer protection is another battleground. While people are okay with watching AI generated content, they want to know what they're looking at. But there's no standard for that disclosure yet. Some platforms are experimenting with labels, others are leaving it up to creators. The rest aren't doing anything at all, hoping the problem solves itself or that someone else sets the standard first. The US is approaching it in their own way. The EU is moving fast on the frameworks. China has its own set of regulations. So, if you're a global brand, how do you navigate all that? Do you build different AI strategies for different markets? Do you default to the most restrictive regulations everywhere? Or do you try to lobby for harmonization? The ethical side of all this is even trickier. Is it ethical to create an AI version of someone who's passed on? What about public figures who have built their image in the public sphere? What about the training data that built these systems in the first place? Was it ethically sourced? These aren't just philosophical debates. They are practical questions that brands, platforms, and creators are having to answer right now, often without clear guidance. I think this race between technology and governance will continue for a while. Brands will have to arrive at their own definition of governance that is aligned with their customers' values. Regulations will catch up eventually. So, whether you are a brand, marketer, or a creator, what can you do today to keep going on your AI journey or get started if you're still thinking about it? Because surviving the Sora effect will require clarity, transparency, and authenticity. First and foremost, develop custom likeness usage policies. Every employee, spokesperson, and creator should know how their digital twin can and cannot be used. Get written consent. Be specific about what you are allowed to do. Adapt those policies as technology changes. For creators, particularly, your likeness needs to be protected as IP. If you are at a level where trademarking makes sense, consider it. Make sure your contracts are clear about AI usage. Do not assume existing image rights clauses cover AI generated content. Next, create transparent disclosure standards for your content. If you're using AI in your content creation, say so. Not as a buried disclaimer, but as part of your brand's approach to transparency. The goal isn't to hide that you're using AI, it's to show that you're using it responsibly in partnership with human creativity, not as a replacement for it. And probably the most important is to invest in relationships and experiences that can't be synthesized. This is the most safe zone in the AI age. AI can copy nearly everything about your identity. It can't copy the relationship you have built with your audience over years, nor can it replicate the specific experiences that shaped your perspective. If you're a creator, lean into what makes you irreplaceable. Your insights, personality, and lived experience are the things AI genuinely can't fake, at least not yet, and probably not ever in a way that truly connects with people. If you're a brand, invest in real relationships with customers and creators. The economics of AI might be tempting, but the value of authentic connection with audiences is going to become more valuable as synthetic content floods the zone. We are living in an era where tech advances are moving at the speed of light. What's true today might not be true in 6 months. So, it's important to pay attention to what's happening around us, particularly the mid tier squeeze that is likely to happen with video production agencies or brands with small audiences looking to gain reach on social platforms or creators with small follower base. In all of this, I think three things very clearly stand out: authenticity, value focused content, and building relationships with the audience. AI might take over a major chunk of what brands, marketers, and creators do to woo their audience. It's still far away from being a true replica of what we know it takes to be human. Finding and hitting that sweet spot is where both challenges and opportunities lie. And that's what the Sora effect leaves us with: a reminder that authenticity, not automation, will define the next era of marketing. The new identity economy is here, and what that means is that your biggest asset is you or your brand. The question is whether you're going to own it or let someone else define what it means. That's it for this episode and this mini series on the Sora effect. Do share how you found this mini series and if you would like more such content. Don't forget to follow on podcast service or social media platform of your choice. Until the next one, take care.